Hello,
Oh, we're
everybody. We are
well.
back again with another Friday Tech Support stream. To all those returning from last week's stream, welcome back, and thank you so much for returning. We're excited to be here again. We're gonna pretty much stick to the same format, so please feel free to ask all of your questions in the chat. We all have it open. We're all here to answer your questions. But we do have a one new face, so we couldn't have Michael on this week, so
Hello.
we've got Angelo here filling in for Michael. You want to talk a little bit about what you do, introduce yourself for the stream?
Yeah. So, hey, I'm Angelo. I'm the Senior Interactive Media Specialist here at NETGEAR. Been a part of NETGEAR for about like 3 to 4 years, but I support on the content side. I manage this YouTube channel actually since the beginning, since I've started. Manage a lot of the content that goes up on Twitch. And also a lot of our gaming events here. So if you've seen the Nighthawk Gaming Instagram or even our recent Twitch streams, you'll see a couple of cameos from me. So say hi. I'm here to help out and support. So again, if you guys have any thing going on where you want to improve your work from home setup, or you need help setting up your router or anything like that, drop it in the comments right now, and we're here to help out. So hey. Looking forward to it.
There you go. Beautifully said. Great intro. And do we have any updates from the other two, Darren and Ben? Anything new going on? You want to talk about?
No, well, we did announce Douma 3.0's first feature, geofencing, this week. Hi, I'm Ben. Most of you know me as Zardu Ben. I'm the brand experience manager for Nighthawk Pro Gaming, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have on recommendations with those products. I'll turn it over to Darren.
Hello, everyone. I'm Darren. I'm a tech support specialist and community moderator. Been with NETGEAR for 5 years. And for updates, I know that we did just release a R7000 firmware, which has been long awaited. One thing with it, if you're going to have an R7000 update to that firmware, please reboot your router before updating. But I've seen a lot of good feedback on this firmware so far.
Good stuff. It's good to hear that we're still pushing out updates during the staying at home. Obviously, what are we playing today? Oh, we got Theo in the chat. What's up, Theo? Good to see you. Always awesome to see
We
Theo.
got Theo. We got Theo. We got Chris. What's up,
Wow.
guys?
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the chat. We want to keep this lighthearted.
What are we playing today? That's the first question.
This is obviously we've been doing this, kicking up our live stream efforts a little bit more. Now that we're working from home. So we do our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams on the Nighthawk Gaming Twitch. And then Fridays we're doing tech support live. So despite anything that might be going on in your network, it's like the whole point of kind of doing these streams is that we want to be here for you guys. No matter if you're just here to say hi or tune into our gaming streams, or if you really do want some live support help, like we want to be here for you guys. So we appreciate you guys for coming back.
Yeah, we also have Gabriel back in the chat as well. So what's up, Gabriel?
Hey,
thanks for coming back.
Hey.
Good to see some
Remember
return
from, the
viewers.
last stream? Yeah.
So let's answer Theo's question. Let's just go around. Just what are we playing right now? Angelo, I know that you jumped on our live stream for this week. I think this is your first sort of series of streaming. So what are you playing on right now?
So of course I was this last Tuesday. I was playing Animal Crossing on the Nighthawk Gaming Twitch channel. So that really is a game that I'm legitimately playing and enjoying every day. I'm trying to really kind of soak myself in there. There's probably a lot more people that are way more hardcore and really grinding it out. But I think, the joy of that game is just to play it as, you normally would, and, kind of just be able to step back and enjoy it. It is a grinding game to an extent, but I'm out here just to have fun. And then also we had that the company Xbox One. I hooked it up to the stream station. So there's a lot of stuff on Xbox Game Pass. I want to check that out.
A lot.
So
almost 100 games, I think.
Yeah, that's my next venture. Is once I kind of get some free time away from Animal Crossing, is to just really check out everything on the Game Pass. Like there's Subnautica, there's I booted up Forza Horizon, so I'll try to catch up.
All right.
Yeah.
So real quick, a question: Tom Nook, villain or hero?
He's a villain.
Absolutely
Okay.
a villain.
When I'm comparing him to Isabel, 100%. This is a very divisive issue, so I'm gonna be careful with how I chop up my words here. I got respect for Tom Nook, but when you put that comparison between Tom Nook and Isabel, I'm just like, how can you choose this dude who you owe a lot of money to this saintly dog that is just here to help you out? By the way, Animal Crossing conversation.
Yeah, I feel like I'm constantly indentured to Tom Nook. Every single time I'm like, hey, I got
you
this.
are.
And it's like, oh, by the way.
You literally are. That's the
know.
whole point of the game. I've been playing it since the GameCube version, so I've never been not paying a debt to Tom Nook.
He's got all my
I've
bells. Every single one.
I've never actually finished my house. I've gotten very close in the GameCube version, but it still stings because I have never technically finished the mortgage. Yeah, Theo, he's a mobster. That's what I'm saying.
Straight up, he is.
People get it. People get it. How about you guys? What are you guys playing?
Alec, what are you playing, Alec?
So same deal as Angela. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. As I'm sure all of you guys know, month to month there's new creatures to catch, and right now there's a new Bunny Day event. So I've been going around trying to catch all the creatures. I still haven't gotten the snapping turtle yet, so that's in the works. But yeah, I for games where there's the opportunity to just grind stuff out, I tend to do that as an ex RuneScape player. It's in my blood. I'm like, what's the most efficient way I can get X and Y done? And I figure that out. So been doing that, been going way too fast. Been trying to slow down a little bit and take in the game a little bit more. Aside from that, I've been playing League a lot. I hit gold, and it's time to uninstall at this point. Every time I play that game, it just frustrates me. I feel like it makes me a worse person. It just makes you angry. Animal Crossing is a great
game.
game.
Angry on those streams.
Yeah, exactly. I just get mad on the streams.
So we got a question from Zuplex.
Hey, Zuplex.
How works latency and ping reduction with IP version 6? Can I configure it on my Douma OS RX 500? Yes, you can. It's in the advanced settings. I have IP version 6 set up for my Xbox because Xbox tends to play nicer with IP6 working. As far as ping reduction and latency, I haven't noticed a difference between IP4 and IP6. I'm still getting a fair amount of reduction, so it hasn't increased my ping at all. In fact, it's made my Xbox a whole bunch more stable. I've been playing Atlas, as you know, on Xbox, and every single time we got into some sort of battle, I would end up crashing, and if I was the person that was steering the ship would just keep going straight because I had dead sticked it by dropping off of the server. But since I've switched to IP version 6, I've had that stability where I haven't had any drop-offs or kickouts. So yeah, if you're an Xbox player, I definitely recommend going to the advanced settings. And it's in settings and then advanced settings, and then enabling that. You'll have to have your router, your modem, both enabled to make that happen.
And then he also,
is it good for PC users? The thing with the difference between 4 and 6 is 4 is 32-bit encryption, 6 is 128-bit encryption. It's a little bit slower as far as getting that signal out, but it has 4 times the information. So if you're, check with the game, what game you're playing on PC, and if that PC game really is, if their servers are using IP6, then I would definitely move over to it.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I feel like that's kind of a very acute thing and it's like very niche, but it makes a big difference. I mean, just based off of what Ben's told me, especially on Xbox. So definitely some
Yeah.
good advice there. Ben's the master of Douma OS. He's the mastermind.
Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say master, but I do what I can.
Definitely, definitely.
Of course, anyone who's watching the stream, please drop in any questions or comments. I think a lot of what we saw last Friday was a lot of people they say their ISP is giving them one speed, but they're actually getting something that's like a fraction of that. So really, we're out here to kind of even be able to kind of recommend you these tips that will get the most out of your hardware, because I think, especially around this time, more people working from home, you deserve to have the best internet you possibly can, because if not, you can't work, you can't play, you can't. If you have no internet, then what are you gonna do?
Ooh, we got Douma questions coming left and right. Chris, do you think that the current and future features of Douma OS are going to help me with cloud gaming? Yes, I definitely think that we're looking towards cloud gaming and assisting with that. And it's really about cloud gaming. Really needs the stability of your connection, because you're basically streaming, so you'll want to have a pretty solid connection, whether or not you're connecting to Stadia or Shadow, and I have both of those. But Douma is definitely works great for that, and we're looking at adding more features. We're going to be teasing out features the closer we get to launching 3.0. But we released our first one this week, which is geofencing, and really what it is it just makes using the geofilter a lot easier. Now you can draw your filter. It allows you to connect and make that sort of connection to your servers easier, rather than just an aperture. So next question. XR700 is coming, new firmware. Yes. There's going to be a new rollout with Douma 3.0. I can't tell you when it's coming to the XR700 yet, but stay tuned. And then Stadia versus Shadow. What's my favorite? I think they're two different products, really. Like Shadow is really cool for like my PC games, but I like Stadia for even though there's a ton of Ubisoft games on there right now, but Stadia feels more console-y, and so I feel like they kind of are doing two different things, and in a weird way, I don't feel like they're competing with each other. Shadow I can use to really kind of do some high power Illustrator or Photoshop or editing of that sort, because it's basically connecting you to like a cloud-based supercomputer. But Stadia is cool. It's more like a cloud-based console, while Shadow's a cloud-based PC. I hope that answers that.
Yeah, I've found that.
Any new?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead and answer his question.
Oh no, we'll get back to that. Any new firmware on older Nighthawk routers, Darren? Do you know anything happening on the firmware side?
Yeah, what I was gonna say was I've noticed that cloud services, like not even just Stadia and Shadow, but like a lot of these remote control services are getting more popular. Like especially in the creative industry, like using Shadow for something like Photoshop. Like I think it is marketed as a gaming product, but you could totally use it for like, maybe I want to remote access a singular computer and put all of my work on that computer, and then I can work on it on an iPad or just on a less powerful computer. Oh, can't hear Darren.
Oh, we can't hear Darren.
Darren, I think try keeping yourself on Skype, not on Zoom, and then you mind repeating it actually? Just like
Oh yeah. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I agree.
I said, yeah, we're constantly releasing firmware for Nighthawk routers. We just released one for the R7000. It's mostly to fix issues and security updates, but no like UI overhaul or anything like that. It's mostly for bug fixes.
Cool. Thanks for getting that. We have another question from Keith. He says he's not a gamer and he has a Nighthawk X6 model R8000. I need the signal to go through 2 walls and about 30 feet. Do you recommend any other router? I definitely want to get everybody's take on this because there's multiple solutions, but I personally wouldn't suggest a different router. I do think that the Nighthawk X6 is a pretty solid router. There's a couple of options. You could get an access point and do a power line adapter and basically run a cable to an access point through a wall. You could do a mesh extender as well. That would probably be my number one solution, would be doing a mesh extender. And that is a Nighthawk product that you already have. So you could use I believe you could use Easy Mesh, Nighthawk Easy Mesh, if you were to get a Nighthawk extender. I can actually go ahead and go over to my Google Chrome view and pull up some of our extenders here. So we have one here, the EX8000, which is kind of like the same spec as your R8000, except the extender version. But there's multiple ones that we could look at here. What do you guys suggest?
Yeah, and also the other question would be, what are the walls made out of? What's the construction? If it's lath and plaster, is it modern sheetrock construction? Is it like my apartment, which is made out of concrete? So what the environmental factors will change how your signal penetrates through the wall. This concrete structure that I'm in, it really takes some powerful, signal to get through. I think I actually glow at night from the amount of Wi-Fi I have. But you really have to kind of, what is that? What is the construction and environmental factors, and then we can kind of figure out whether or not put it through like a power line or through a mesh solution.
Yep. Yeah, I do agree. It really does depend on the materials. If you have concrete, I'm sorry, that one's very hard to get through here. Walls are sheetrock and wood. There is a driveway between them.
Oh, so you're getting signal out to like the garage. Mesh extenders work pretty well. I've got a couple friends that have their router in their living room and an EX8000 or a 750 in their garage. So that's a possibility as well.
So yeah, I would, especially with the R8000, the great thing about it is that it is tri-band. So that's where Alec flipped it up a little bit earlier when you look at our extender page. But I would take a look at the tri-band mesh extenders, because what it's going to be able to do is take that third band, kind of like how our Orbi mesh line goes, is that it's able to essentially use the third band that's usually frees up traffic. It could dedicate that to solely being used from the extender, and essentially it's like a superhighway straight to your router, which is connected to your modem. So if you were to get an extender, I would highly recommend the tri-band. That's pretty much a no-brainer when it comes to being able to extend your network. But I see that there is a driveway in between. So there's also something that we have that is Orbi, the Orbi outdoor satellite. So, of course, correct me if I'm incorrect for any reason, but we do have extender mode on the Orbi outdoor, and you'll be able to essentially use that as a regular tri-band mesh extender, but you can put it outdoors. Darren, please correct me if I'm wrong if that's already available, but that is a feature that we have for the Orbi Outdoor.
Yeah, the Orbi Outdoor, we did release a firmware where it will connect any of our routers, not just Orbi, to be an extender to be used outdoors in those type environments.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I think the best solution would likely be an extender. There's a lot of options though, so take a look at the store and see what suits you best. But yeah, just as like kind of a thought, the EX8000 is going to be basically the same spec as your router, just as an extender. So I would personally suggest that one. But yeah, you could always do an RB2 if you want to put it outside. Just depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabriel Lopez says, should he upgrade his router? He has an R 7900 and he wants to get an R 8000.
I would say in terms of the hardware, 7900 to the 8000, it's a minimal upgrade. I mean, it is upgrade nonetheless, but it really depends on kind of like what you use what your needs are as a home. Because we have a lot to offer, obviously, but if you're gonna really upgrade, I'm curious to see like how many devices you have, the square footage of your home. Like, are you a gaming heavy household? Are you guys streaming all the time? Are you trying to work from home a little bit more efficiently? I would probably say if you want to upgrade, make a bigger step, but I'm kind of curious to see kind of what your current needs are.
Yeah, I would say, and I'm gonna hop back over to the Chrome view. If you're going to upgrade in 2020, it's really time to go to Wi-Fi 6, I think. Um, we have a lot of affordable Wi-Fi 6 products, so it's no longer like this new technology where it's, unattainable for like most people, like we are making it more affordable Wi-Fi 6 routers, um, to the point where there's really no reason not to go from 5 to 6 if you do want to upgrade. So I would definitely check out this Wi-Fi 6 page that we have on our website. Um, it's if you go to store.netgear.com, it's at one of the top tabs up here, Wi-Fi 6, and we have all of our Wi-Fi 6 products listed here. Um,
Mhm.
but that is not to say that the R7900 is still not a great router. If it's working well for you, um, you don't necessarily need to upgrade. But I'm just saying that if you do upgrade, I would definitely encourage Wi-Fi 6 at this point.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I would say that moving to that, if you're not gaming centric, right now I would move to the Wi-Fi 6 because you're going to get a little bit of future proofing. Most people buy their routers, to last, 2 or 3 years. So you're going to want to have that sort of that longevity of that product, and now would be a great time to move to the new technology. It moves a lot more information more efficiently. So if you're looking to upgrade, now would be the time to do that. And then just to go back, Zuplex said, "Are your products will for remote function connection like wireless PC interaction
I think he
from
means
work to home device or something
yeah,
like that?"
I think he means like remote manage, like Shadow PC
Yeah.
or TeamViewer. Yeah, all our
yeah,
products will work for that. Those services require pretty high speed Wi-Fi. So I would definitely encourage, um, if that's something that you're interested in doing, the remote management, I would definitely encourage investing in some good Wi-Fi hardware because that kind of stuff,
mhm,
um, remote management tends to take a lot. So because
yeah,
you have to
and
stream
I
the video feed and then upload your actions. So
yeah, and then I would also emphasize that our hardware, by Netgear, we're that means, right? So I would also check to see what your speeds are offered by your ISP. I would at least go somewhere if your area is available for it, like over 100 megabits per second, or even go to 250 if you want to, especially use it as a work from home kind of like virtual machine. That will not only require bandwidth to connect to that virtual machine wirelessly, but you got to be able to still, do file transfers and your day-to-day work that will probably require some kind of internet usage on that virtual machine itself. So yes, check out our hardware, but it's still that medium that still you got to figure out what are your internet speeds and making sure that they're high enough to support what you're doing.
definitely. And then we have another question from Gonzalo. He says, why does the router not show all the devices that are connected at a certain moment? Um, I would try using the Nighthawk app. I believe it has like a live list of devices that are connected on the Nighthawk app. Is that correct, Darren?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is correct.
Also, what router do you have? It helps us a little bit if we know what the model number is.
Yeah, definitely. That would help too. Um,
Yeah,
thank
let
you,
us know
Zuplex.
the product that you have, and then yes, Alex is right. If you go to the Nighthawk app, which is hopefully supported by your router, we have something. It's called like the traffic meter. So you'll be able to see all those devices that are connected, and you could either pause the network or you could, you know, resume it if you disabled it temporarily. You should have that feature available. We just got to know which product you have.
Okay, he's checking out right now.
Okay, he's
Checking
checking right now.
Okay.
We have a question from Jorge. It is, what is the difference between the Nighthawk AX8 Stream Wi-Fi 6 mesh extender? It's a mouthful. And the Nighthawk Mesh Wi-Fi 6 system. There's multiple Nighthawk Mesh Wi-Fi 6 systems. I think maybe you might be referring to the new MK series that we just released, the little black boxes. I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I believe those are dual band. Is that right? The little boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are going to be dual band. Here I can pull up the website so that we're being clear about what we're talking about here. But I believe that what you're referring to is going to be these guys right here, the Easy Mesh MK60. I don't think you guys can see my cursor, but the third one from the left right here. The Nighthawk Dual Band Mesh Wi-Fi 6 system, Easy Mesh. It's a mouthful. A lot of mouthfuls. But the AX8 8-stream Wi-Fi 6 mesh extender that you're referring to, that's going to be this one right here. So this is going to be tri-band, which means that, and Angela explained this earlier, there's going to be a dedicated band that's just talking from your router to your extender. And there's not going to be, it's not going to be shared with a band that you're connecting to from your device. So it's going to definitely improve speed. I think tri-band is really important to have, especially with Wi-Fi 6. You want to maximize that technology. So I would, if you already have a Wi-Fi 6 router, I would definitely encourage getting just this extender here instead of going back and replacing your router with one of these, because if you already have a router, then you shouldn't need to buy the whole kit.
Yeah, that's the biggest question here. Do you want to keep the router you already have, or do you want to completely replace everything and then set up a new router and a new satellite? If you want to set up a new router and a new satellite, that's where you want to get the Nighthawk Mesh Wi-Fi 6 system, because it's a whole system. But the AX8 mesh extender, that's just an extender. So that would be in the case that you don't want to completely unhook your current router. You just want to have something where you could plug it into a wall, press a button, have the two sync, and then you're ready to go. So that's kind of your two situations there.
And then we have a follow-up from Gonzalo. He says that he has an RAX15. So that is going to be compatible with the Nighthawk app. So I would definitely try connecting or try using the Nighthawk app on your phone. Just go on the Play Store or the App Store and look up Nighthawk, and it should pop up, should be the first result. Let's see. Well, I connected through Ethernet to the administrator user interface. I checked on the advanced tab, on the security tab, and on the access control security tab. That's where I checked the connected. Okay, yeah, I would definitely try using the Nighthawk app. That would be my number one suggestion.
Yeah, I would say, kudos to you. You're taking that extra step. And actually, everything, even on my end, I think the whole industry as a whole, or kind of our customers, we're still so used to being like, I want to log into my router. I gotta go get my laptop that has an Ethernet port and then get an Ethernet cable and then have to go upstairs and then plug it in hardwired. But really, the Nighthawk app is completely meant to kind of move our thinking away from that, and then just saying, hey, as long as you're connected on your phone, you'll be able to remotely manage your network. So I would recommend setting up remote management through the Nighthawk app, and then using the traffic meter feature on that app to check your connected devices.
Couldn't say it better myself. Exactly.
I tried.
Thank you. Let's see. We've got another question from Zuplex. How are we all doing in isolation? Everything fine? And then thank you so much for supporting the support stream.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I'm doing
How are you guys doing?
all right. I miss you guys.
That's sweet. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we'll probably take a couple breaks during the show to kind of do some mental health check-ins. But yeah, it's a tough time, but we're making do. Obviously, we're still out here to provide help and kind of just like to put ourselves out there to one, check in how you guys are doing, our community and our customers, because we want to be here. We have the means of doing so, even though we're all in our own homes. And we'll be doing these every Friday, but I'm okay. I got food. I got toiletries after waiting in line for a couple hours at Target. But after that, it's kind of just like doing my part and kind of bunkering down and staying safe.
Yeah, I think that everything is going fine right now. I think that the biggest thing, for us is we're kind of a social team, and so having us kind of away from each other and not being able to collaborate in the traditional sense is probably the toughest thing. But we're here, for you guys to. That's why we're reaching out and doing these streams is really to reach out to our community, and it's something that's very important to us, and that's why we have the capability of doing this. So we're just trying our best, like everybody else, and we really want to help encourage people to use our technology to help you stay connected. We're staying connected through our technology, but we love to help you guys in staying connected to both, friends, family, and coworkers.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with everything there.
Yeah.
We are very essential for working from home, having good Wi-Fi. So, even though we're all out of the office, we're still having to work even harder, honestly, because there's a big need for us right now, and it's a little hard with efficiency, being separated. All of our meetings are virtual. We can't collaborate in the office like we used to, so it's definitely hard. But I think we're keeping up pretty well. We've been, still pushing out updates, still updating the website, still on social media. Like we're doing all that, which is pretty solid. And we're doing these streams, so
Yeah, we're trying something new.
doing the best we can. Yeah.
Hopefully, you can keep doing it.
You have anything to add, Darren?
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
You have anything to add, Darren?
No. Sounds
Oh,
good.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
I was looking for
We'll do a couple more checks throughout the stream, but yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
good.
Yeah,
let's just go in order here.
All right.
So we got
So
follow up from Jorge. He has the Nighthawk AX12 Wi-Fi 6 router, which is a really solid router, and I believe he was the one that had the question about the Nighthawk mesh. Yeah, so because you already have that router, and that's a really good router, it's one of our best routers. I actually have it pulled up right here on Chrome. He's talking about the one that's in the middle here, and then actually right next to that on the left is going to be the extender that I would suggest for that router. So it's going to be the same spec. You're seeing that they're both AX 6000. That's like the spec.
mhm.
So that would pair very well together. He just asked the question. I would I would go with the EAX80. You don't need to get the Mesh Wi-Fi 6 system because that's going to come with a router that isn't as powerful as the router you already have. And you don't want to replace the router you just got because it's brand new technology and that's a really good router. So I would definitely encourage getting the EAX80 and then syncing that up with Nighthawk Easy Mesh.
Yep.
Okay, trying to follow. We got a bunch of questions while we were talking about
Yeah.
the isolation. We got one from
Okay.
Adalberto, who is back from last week. Thank you for coming back and supporting the stream. Last week we suggested a DOCSIS 3.1 modem, and he just said his ISP unfortunately does not support DOCSIS 3.1. That is really unfortunate. I was very excited to recommend that technology, but
Yeah. remind us what speed, because a CM600 is a pretty solid DOCSIS 3 modem. So and that goes up to, I believe, like 300 or 400. Let me just double check. But that's a pretty solid modem. You can't really go wrong with that. Up to 960. Yeah, if you can't get the DOCSIS 3.1, the CM600 will definitely be a great device for you.
Yeah, I was gonna make that same suggestion, so just gonna echo Ben's. CM600 should be solid. And then we have a follow-up from Gonzalo saying it should work in that interface. He's referring to the Nighthawk app. Yes, you should be able to see all the devices that are actively connected, and I believe you can also pause and block devices on there. And then he mentioned worrying about privacy a little bit. Just to give some reassurance, as a company that only does networking, really. I mean, we have the Mural, but we're primarily a networking company. We aren't really part of a bigger company. It's just us at NETGEAR doing NETGEAR things. So all of your data is safe, and we don't collect it, do we? I don't think we do.
No.
Yeah, we don't collect data. So.
Even so, the login credentials it's the same as whether you're on a desktop or if you're on the app, because you have that login admin password, and then I highly recommend it to reset it to something a little bit more secure. But whether you're typing in that admin password thing on desktop versus you're typing it into your phone, that it's just a difference of using an application rather than a web browser. So the privacy, it's all the same regardless. But yeah, you highly recommend you just come and check it out. But again, that's kind of like your own personal decision. We wouldn't push you either way.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to follow along with.
I'm going to go back on a recommendation that we just had. We just recommended the 600, and this is going to answer Gabriel's question. Actually, I would go with the 700. The 600 is a 24, and it's 24 times faster than 2.0. 700 is 32 times faster. So I would, if you're looking for a DOCSIS 3 modem, the 700, because then after that you jump up to the 1000, which is a 3.1.
Okay. We're getting a lot of questions, so I'm trying to follow along here. Please, if we missed your question, just say it again. But yeah, I'm losing track. Brendan said, "Oh, you just answered that." Okay, so we're good. And then we have a question from.
I have the Nighthawk. Okay, Brendan says the X6, the one with the. Oh, okay. So that is the R8000.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
With the aerial on top.
We had a Genie question, and we've moved to the Nighthawk app from Genie. Most of those using the Genie should have had a notification to migrate over to the newer Nighthawk app. If you haven't, highly recommend it, because Genie is no longer supported.
Yeah. Actually, I would highly recommend not even. You might find like an old link somewhere on the internet or something like that, but either just stick it on the Nighthawk app or the web GUI. But even so, we're highly recommend the Nighthawk app. That's the most updated, that's the most secure, that's the most polished experience that you're going to get with our products.
Okay, so following along here. We've got some people in the chat helping each other. Community, there you go. Help each other out.
That's awesome.
So we have another question from Alberto. He is saying he was going to upgrade from 400 megabytes per second to 1 gig, but all the technicians from his ISP are quarantined since he's in the New York area. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that New York is really affected right now, so I hope you're staying safe. And good Wi-Fi can wait. If it means staying safe, it's not worth.
It's not. I would err on the side of staying safe, especially in the New York area right now. You guys are getting hit pretty hard, so the shelter in place, be safe. But when you can, then get your service updated if you can safely.
So
he said he was informed.
Adalberto.
Oh, you go ahead, Angela.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry. I was just gonna read off the next comment. So he was informed that he's gonna receive a gateway modem that has built-in Wi-Fi. How can I go of enabling the Nighthawk AX12 as the router? So that is actually the setup that I have currently. I have AT&T, and I am on the West Coast, but should still be pretty much the same. Just to keep things simple. I didn't want to tear out the modem yet because I think that I actually want to buy a new modem because I upgraded to 1 gig speeds. Again, this is my personal setup. So what I did is that I have an RAX 200, just our newest, actually probably top of the line Wi-Fi 6 routers. And then it was easy. You just plug in directly into my AT&T modem, and it's the same thing. AT&T has a gateway. So I plugged it in, and then I went through the setup through the Nighthawk app, just through the standard process. But then the thing is that you want to prevent double net, which is you don't want two routers essentially emitting a Wi-Fi signal right next to each other at the same time. They're just going to clash and talk back to each other and argue with each other essentially. So what I had to do was I had to kind of look up AT&T's how to log in into my gateway. I found like a couple like setup articles. Essentially, you just have to log into that router and then disable the Wi-Fi. You might have to go through a couple extra steps because like AT&T or ISP is going to kind of get you to stick onto their hardware as much as possible. But as long as you can bypass that and disable the Wi-Fi, you'll be completely set to go.
Okay, we have a question, and I think this is one that Darren can answer because I don't know the answer. The question was basically, will we ever introduce an automated reboot system for routers? I believe that's already implemented. Do you know how to access that?
Which router are we talking about? An automated system? I don't know that there is like a timer or anything that automatically reboots our routers yet. I mean,
you can reboot it from the app.
Yeah,
I know that. But like a timer, but I don't think you can yet. But I think that's actually something that's a great idea that we could suggest to the app team. That you could set it in the Nighthawk app, and then it reboots Sunday night at midnight or 2 a.m. or whenever.
Like a schedule.
Yeah, it's definitely a highly requested feature. I mean, I've seen a lot of that talk on the community. We like to throw those requests to the engineers to keep them aware of what the community is wanting to see in firmware updates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was already there, so definitely something that's on multiple people's minds. So we'll throw that to engineering, but in the meantime, you can reboot from the app. The app is something that we've been suggesting a lot, both in this stream and the last stream. It's definitely the best user experience we have right now, which is nice because it's on your phone. It's simple to use. So I would poke around the app and just tinker with the settings and see what you can do.
If there is something missing, let's say you guys are on the web GUI and you see something that you want to feature request it. We do have our NETGEAR community. We have there should be this forum where you could request like a certain feature, or it's like pretty much like a wish list, and then you get a certain amount of votes on it. We'll be able to pass it off to our engineering team. So please check out our community. And then if we see enough comments on it, then that's something that's just going to automatically, it's already a part of our process to raise up to the team. So, of course, we'll do our best to pass it on, but, there's a couple ways that you could, get your word in.
Yeah, it's the idea exchange for home as the board on the community.
There we go. Awesome.
Yeah, he says that.
That's it. Yeah. He's saying that his favorite part of the app is being able to reboot from the bedroom because the router press 2 4s below. Yeah, because a lot of people do, put their routers in, the basement or the attic or the closet. We do try to make our routers good looking. So if you wanted to have them out on the shelf and display, that's fine too. but a lot of people have their routers where their internet comes in, and it doesn't really ever come in a convenient area. So being able to reboot is pretty nice.
Sweet. Did we catch up on all the questions?
Yeah, so I'm looking into Gabriel's question right now.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's a CM700 versus the CM1000.
Yeah, so I
It's like
think
a difference in
you might have
the
read
bands.
something incorrect. So I have the website up right now, and let us know if you read this on our site so we can correct it. But the CM1000 is 32 downstream and 8 upstream channels, and then it has 2 downstreams and 2 upstreams on DOCSIS 3.1. I'm not make sure you guys are checking my information so I'm not telling a lie, but those 2 DOCSIS 3.1 channels are on top of the DOCSIS 3.0 channels, so you're getting 4 more channels total of the DOCSIS 3.1 channels, which is something that you don't get in the CM700 or the CM600, and so that's like the main difference. Is that right? I hope so.
I'll say yes.
Yeah, because the
Yes.
CM700 is 32 by 8 channels as well, which is the same as the 1000, but it does not have those DOCSIS 3.1 channels. So that's kind of where the difference in the models are, and the difference in price comes through. And then the CM600 is going to be 24 by 8.
But that's only DOCSIS 3.
Yeah, you don't get into the DOCSIS 3.1 until you get over the 1000 spec. So
yes,
you got the CM1000, the CM1100, the CM1150, and the CM1200. Those are going to be your DOCSIS 3.1. So, any reason to upgrade from the X6 to the newer AX12? The main reason for that is going to be Wi-Fi 6. Your X6 is not a Wi-Fi 6 router, and although that's a great router, and if it's serving you well, stick with it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you are looking to upgrade, Wi-Fi 6, I mentioned this to another commenter. 2020, there's no reason not to get Wi-Fi 6. It's become affordable. It's competitive with Wi-Fi 5 products. From a price point perspective, there's no reason to get the older technology. Definitely worth looking into. Switch back over to the cameras here.
Yeah, Brendan, I would, if your X6 right now is going great, I'm not going to tell you, give us money now. Like, if it's working great, it's working great. And we wouldn't want to recommend you anything that could potentially disrupt that. But when you are looking to upgrade, that's when we do say, yes, Wi-Fi 6 is the move. Your latest, the iPhone 11s support Wi-Fi 6. The latest Samsung Galaxies are on Wi-Fi 6. The iPad Pros are now on Wi-Fi 6. And see, that's the thing. It's like we need to provide that hardware first, and then the devices, the processors, the chipsets, everyone that creates the devices that we use to keep in touch with everyone all the time, whatever, that's going to come in that next wave. So we're setting up that infrastructure. So again, if it's doing great for you now, that's awesome. There's not so much an urgency yet, but once the time does come, let's say, you're starting to get more congested in your network, or things are just starting to get old, or maybe you just want something a little bit fancier looking because our new RX 80, 120, 200 routers do have a new design. That's where we'd go ahead and recommend the Wi-Fi 6 routers.
Yep.
There you go. Couldn't have said it better myself.
There you go.
Cool.
Is the X12 the best router you have at the moment? I think there's a better one. There's the RX 200. I don't know what like the AX title is for that. Let me double check.
That's the one I have.
Yeah. Darren, what would you say would be the tippy top of the line?
I believe it's the 200.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had anything else come out.
And that's on the Nighthawk side. So we also have Orbi Wi-Fi 6. So if again, this is going to kind of come into the specific needs you have. If you want mesh, but also want to be on Wi-Fi 6, that's where Orbi Wi-Fi 6. That's kind of actually one of our top selling routers right now on the NETGEAR store. So that's where you would start to compare. All right, you want to make that move up to Wi-Fi 6, but now which one do you want? Do you want Orbi, which is going to be a mesh system, or do you just want to have that one router sitting on whichever floor it is? I think you said it was on the bottom floor, 2 floors down. So yeah, depends if you want mesh or not.
Brendan has a question of who designs our routers. We got a new designer. His name's Kylo Ren. No, but they do. Some of them do. You know, we've got a great design team that they do look a little bit like you know, I love the big gull wings on them, and that's because those are super powerful antennas. We're trying to integrate, you know, a lot of the functionality into the design, and you know, we have a lot of great looking products. Look at our Orbi line. You know, our Orbi line can sit on your shelves, and nobody would actually even know that it's a Wi-Fi system. How does that compare to the Google Mesh? Angelo, do you want to take that?
Do I have to put some legal footnotes in here? So
yeah.
I'm kidding. Well, I'll just be objective here. So I'm just gonna say that with our offerings, we have a variety of mesh systems to choose from. So you can go Wi-Fi 6 with Orbi Wi-Fi 6, which is the one I just mentioned. But you know, that has to kind of fit within a certain amount of needs where you are moving towards these newer devices like your iPhone 11 or your Samsung Galaxy or etc. And you find that you want to future-proof your network, 3, reduce the congestion that's on it, and because that's the thing with Wi-Fi 6. It's something that we call OFDMA, and at a really explain like M5 kind of explanation, essentially it's just like now the router can talk to all pretty much a large number of devices all at once. So you could talk back and forth instead of talking to one device, focusing on that one device, and then talking to your computer, and then after that talking to your Netflix streaming box, whatever. Now it's able to just kind of do it all at once. So that's really where Wi-Fi 6 is going to help out with your congestion. And that is something that our competitors don't have yet. So we have that offering there, but we also still have something where if you want different form factors like a wall plug or Orbi Outdoor, or even if you want Orbi for business, we have all those offerings there. So I would take a look at what your needs are and what your budget is and figure out, all right, even under Orbi, which is the best mesh system for me? Because if you go to our competitors, you're going to only have one to choose from. And essentially after that, the only choice you have left is how many satellites do I have or do I need? And it's going to start costing you more for essentially
and I think what's
inferior hardware, but more satellites.
Just to echo Angela, I think what's really nice with the Orbi brand as a whole is we really made a big point at like the design and the corporate level to create different Orbis for different use cases. So let's say you're on a budget. We've got the dual band, little tiny Orbi boxes that you can buy a 3-pack for very affordably. And then we also have like the master Orbi, the Orbi Wi-Fi 6 that's so powerful that's going to be able to power a huge house with Wi-Fi 6 to every corner and give you gigabit speed everywhere. And so it really just depends on what you want and what your use case is. And that's something that is not common in the Wi-Fi industry, is to have that much selection in a single brand, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and I would say across the board, we have, if you have a budget, we have a router for you. Somewhere in our system, we have a router that is going, and a modem that is going to vastly improve over what you're getting from your ISP, hands down. So, it's just a matter of what your setup needs are, what your focus is, and what your budget is, and you will definitely find something that we have that will make your network more efficient, your connections better, and which means that in this strange times, you'll be able to connect to friends and family and work a lot more.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think we just missed Adalberto's last question, unless I somehow missed it. So to get the most accurate ISP speeds that you're paying for, would you recommend Cat 5e or Cat 6? Which is my opinion. Go ahead.
And
Darren, you
this
want
is
to
a me
tackle that?
thing. Oh yeah, Darren, you answer that. You'd have the best answer, not
I
me.
mean, I would go Cat 6 and above. I mean, there's not much price difference between those Ethernet cords anymore, and I would always want to have the best cord if it's not really going to cost me anything to make sure I have the best connection. So I wouldn't even mess with Cat 5 anymore. It's pretty
Yeah,
old at this point.
I was gonna say pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing. I don't think it's gonna make like a huge difference where you're like, oh my God, I switched cables and my Wi-Fi is suddenly 5 times faster. Um, but I like Darren said, I think it's always best to be in that newest generation of technology, especially if you're going to be buying a Nighthawk product. You just want to optimize it as best as you can. There's so many components that are driving your Wi-Fi, and you just want to make sure that each of them is kind of performing at its best, not holding anything back. So I agree. I'd go Cat 6,
Yeah,
personally.
go Cat 6. Personally for me, sometimes I realize like how old my cables are because a cable's a cable, right? Like it's whatever. At least that's how I think about it sometimes. So I had to kind of actually go out and search out for a USB. I apparently didn't know that USB-C cables aren't always USB 3.0. That you have
Yep.
to make sure that it is 3.0 and not because a lot of them are still USB 2.0. And I'm just like, wow, like I'm trying to plug in. Actually, I'm trying to plug in the capture card and then it just kept telling me, I was like, oh, you're on, you need USB 3.0 in order for it to, your capture card to function. I'm just like, dude, what the heck? I'm already I'm trying out every single port. I'm like, oh, my motherboard is busted or something like that. But then I was like, wait, there's more to cables than just, yeah, there's more than I actually think. So I would suggest to everyone take a look at what your current setup is. And even as something as small as like a Cat 5, Cat 6 cable can make a dramatic improvement to your network.
Yeah, there's an old live event saying of people that set up like music events, and recording, and that is cables are the first thing to go and the last thing you check. So always make sure that your cables are up to date. Which brings us into the next question, which is Cat 5, Cat 6, Cat 7.8, which is the best?
I think it all you have to do your research on it. I mean, some of these cables have different outputs and distances. Some of them might not be able to take a signal as far as you think it can, and it'll degrade. So you kind of have to do your research on that, on what cable is best for you. I know Cat 6, all the 6 ranges are good for what we have now for like gigabit speeds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would suggest instead of just kind of like going to Fry's or Best Buy and then just kind of mass buying a bunch of cables, like really check each one as to which one you actually want to replace. Kind of figure out, all right, I want to replace the cable that goes between my modem and my router. Okay, yeah, get one that has like a high output, but it's not like a one size fits all situation. Because again, kind of like with my USB-C story, I was just like, I had a very specific use case, and you want to make sure that the the money, the time that you're spending, especially now to go out and buy a cable, it's like make sure it's the right one.
Okay.
Okay, so we
So
have
let's.
a mobile router question.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
This Hugh has, what's the best mobile LTE router? M1100 or
Sounds like
better than
five is,
M?
or M1 actually, right?
Yeah.
M1100.
Yeah, I mean, currently coming soon, we have the M5, which is supports 5G and Wi-Fi 6, which will be our best mobile router that we have coming out. I don't believe it's out just yet.
No,
No, I think
I did pull
that's
up
coming up.
the article about it. There's a press release. I'll hop on over to my Google Chrome view. But we did announce it at CES. Um, and yeah, I can throw this article in the chat if you guys want to see it. I'll actually let you
Yeah,
do that, Angelo. I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, send it to me. Sorry, I'm usually the background producer guy, so I'm also your NETGEAR YouTube commenter at the same time. So I'm gonna try and multitask best I can.
But yeah,
I think
definitely that would be worth waiting for.
Catches this up to the chat. So
there we go.
yep,
Cool.
When's the CAX80 going to be available? I'm not sure. Do you guys know? Is that something we can talk about?
I don't have any information on that.
Yeah,
I think it's
think
still
we
on
know.
pre-order for now, and we can't announce it yet because these things are still on pre-order. But please stay tuned. The CX80, that is going to be our most powerful cable modem that we probably ever produced. So that's going to be a good one when it does come out. But yeah, please stay tuned to our social channels.
And then we had a update from Adalberto, who said he has one Cat6 cable plugged into his AX12, and then when he did that, the LED on the front turned from amber to white. So yeah, those LEDs on the front are going to be indicators just for which ports are being used on the back of your router. So don't be startled that turned white. It's just an indicator. So
you want to see white.
Yeah, that means
when
it
comes to hooking up your Ethernet ports.
That means they're connected.
Yeah. So, just kind of follow up on the CX80. So yeah, we did have, so that's kind of like how we do it like at CES. So CES is our biggest time of the year to essentially announce new products, but also just kind of like set our roadmap for the rest of the year. So as much as we try our best to push it out as soon as possible after we announce it. But again, they are around kind of the excitement around CES. So yeah, of course we want to get it to you sooner rather than later. But yeah, that was one of our CES releases, the CAX80.
We got a very endearing question from Gabriel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. He's been here for the last 2 streams, so we appreciate the support. He says he wants to know if we'll keep doing these streams once normal life resumes. If you guys want us to, we will. This is something that it's harder to execute remotely, and we're doing it and we're making it work, which is awesome. And I'm really happy to bring this stream to you guys. Once we're back in the office, this is even easier for us to do. So
and I'll kind of tease it a little bit. I kind of have a little bit of insight, being the producer kind of dude behind our past live streams. So we have a room in the NETGEAR headquarters. It's called like the Cloud Lounge. So we're kind of playing around with this kind of help desk kind of setup. So if this is something you want us to keep on doing, we will do it, and we'll bring out that help desk. And instead of you seeing 4, 1, 2, whatever kind of squares from our rooms, it's going to be a polished show where we could bring in our product managers, we could bring in our support guys or girls, to kind of help us continue doing these streams. But it seems like Friday around noon, like if this is a good time that works for you guys, this is a good time that works for us. And, let's keep on, creating cool things that you guys find helpful. So
yeah,
we appreciate that feedback and support.
We did have
I would
a
just
podcast.
want to say,
go ahead.
So I would want to say that if you find this very helpful, put it in the comments below. More comments that we have down below that we can show that this is something that you guys find helpful, that you guys want. We can, those comments really help us prove what we're doing is something that you guys want, and it's something that you guys find helpful.
That's awesome. Yeah, looks like
and the format
like
may change slightly once we get back into the office. And right now we're doing this on a weekly basis because we really feel like we need to keep this going and triage a lot of your guys' questions and help out as best we can during these like uncertain times. But it may change once everything sort of goes back to normal. We may pull it back a little bit as far as frequency, but right now this feels like a good frequency.
Yeah.
Okay, we had a comment from Brendan. He said he tried out the Armor free trial a week ago via the Nighthawk app. Let us know how you like it. Armor is something that we're putting a lot of emphasis on right now, and a lot of eyes are on it. And so we definitely appreciate feedback on the Armor experience because we're always trying to improve it. So definitely let us know how you like it. I believe it's a
Yeah.
1 month or 3 month trial. So feel free to tune in again and
Yeah.
let us know how you feel about the service, and if there's something that's really upsetting you and annoying, let us know. We'll see if we can get it fixed. Got
Yeah.
another one from
And
Adalberto who said he emailed our team to see if he could try out that new beta.
yeah. So
We said we'd be able to send those out, right?
yeah. So that one is with our community moderation team. So let me go ahead and give them another ping. I literally have their direct line on me right now. So let me go out and kind of put in that special word for you, Adalberto, and then hopefully you'll see a response in your inbox pretty shortly. But I have direct contact with them, so
Yeah,
I'll keep you
kind of
updated.
echoing what I said to Brennan. It would be great to hear how you like it, and you can always come back to the streams and let us know. We're a pretty small company, so we're able to communicate with everybody here. Like your
Yeah.
comments, it's very very easy for us to talk to people here. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Kind of to
Yeah. And
like
then
reiterate.
real
Oh, go ahead.
real quick, let's just remind everybody that if you are trying to submit a support ticket or help ticket, we have that in the description below. So that process. Oh, good God. But we have that process below. So go ahead and follow that if you're submitting a ticket.
Hey, Adalberto, I just got a ping saying they're looking into it. So yeah, just like that,
Boom.
we got you.
Got some live tech support going on here.
This is why we do it.
So we have a question from Paul, who looks like he is working in networking. He's got some customers, and he's wondering about offering a VPN client on factory firmware. So I'll definitely toss this to Darren because Darren would know best. But I do know that the Nighthawk Pro Gaming routers do have built-in VPNs on the factory software. I don't know if that's a feature.
You can set up whatever VPN service that you have, so it's VPN ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Darren, I'll let you answer that question.
I would need a little bit more detail on what he's wanting from his VPN there. I know we support OpenVPN across all of our routers. Not really understanding what he's requesting.
Is it that he has a VPN service that he would like to offer as a client across our firmware? How about this? Can we DM him, Angelo, or have him DM us?
Back to here. Let me see. If you want to, okay, I'm trying to wonder if this is like a business, like kind of like if you're a reseller. I'd love to be able to make sure that I'm sending you to the right people. I don't want to also give you 2 emails all at once. Okay.
Yeah, they offer VPN.
Here, I'm gonna kind of just. I'm gonna email, or sorry, I'm gonna comment from the NETGEAR YouTube account in the chat right now. So, NETGEAR team at netgear.com. I'm gonna type this out right now. So please send us an email and then use the hashtag Stay Connected just to make sure that we know who's coming from where, aka this stream today. So email us at netgearteam@netgear.com, and then I'll check in with our community moderation team to make sure that word is forwarded out to me, so I could just double make sure you're going out to the right people. So here, I'm gonna put it in right here. And then another follow-up for Adalberto, our community moderation team, they're wondering if you put in the hashtag Stay Connected in that subject line. And if you didn't, just resend it, just because that email, like that comes in from a lot of requests that be coming from kind of all around the company. So again, that's why it's so important to put hashtag Stay Connected in that subject line, so we could give you essentially that VIP help that we're doing right now.
I have a follow-up to the beta question for the racks. If people are looking to get in on these betas for firmware, you just need to create a community account and PM a moderator, and then we can get you added to the beta community so you can test that firmware out. That's pretty much the easiest way if you're wanting to test out new beta firmwares.
Yeah, it's good to know that there's like a sub community of beta testers. I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Paul, if we could get more information on the VPN you're offering, we can help you out with compatibility. We got a hello from Jefferson. Jefferson, welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of love in this stream. Thanks so much, guys. He said he did have that hashtag on the subject line, so we must have missed it, but Angela's talking to them right now, so should be able to get that out to you pretty immediately.
Okay.
And then
they're still checking on
I
it.
just want to say,
I
just want to say that there's a ton of you still watching, and we really appreciate you guys spending a little bit of your time on a Friday afternoon with your questions and comments. So thank you for joining us. Those are just joining us. We are taking support questions, recommendation questions, any sort of question actually that you have for us. So so go ahead and keep those questions coming.
Okay, yeah. So he did exactly what he needed to. So we'll get him the
Cool.
software now, and then same from Jefferson V.
Yeah.
Don't worry
no
about
worries.
it, Adalberto. We should have it taken care of. Shouldn't need to resend it. You're talking to him now, Angela,
I'll
right?
tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you in this stream right now. Hopefully, if you got a little bit more time. They're keeping me updated. They're looking at it right now. So the moment they find it, I'll literally just come back into the stream and say, we found it, and then we'll get you set up. But see, this is why we like doing this whole thing live, because this is exactly what it is, direct help, pretty much on demand. So again, hopefully this is helping you guys out.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
That catches us up. So
Yeah.
where were we on games? I think it was the last question that we were talking about. Because
the first one.
Yeah, because Darren, we didn't get what you're playing.
Oh yeah. What are you playing right now?
Well, been trying to raid in Classic WoW, but with everyone being at home, the queue times went way back up, and it's really hard to log on. There get a whole 40 people to log on before they get stuck in queue. But other than that, been playing a lot of Warzone, New Call of Duty, Battle Royale, and Teamfight Tactics is a lot of what I've been playing.
So I got a question on Warzone, and then we'll get to Gabriel's question. Warzone, are you playing the straight Battle Royale, or are you playing Blood Money? Because I found that Blood Money is the secret, amazing, awesome mode that they put in.
I played the Blood Money once. It was a lot of fun, but mostly just the Battle Royale.
Blood Money's not fun when you're playing it solo, but if you have a crew and there's 3 of you, it is a lot of fun. For those that you don't know, it's a version of the Battle Royale where you're a mercenary team. The object is to get as much money as possible, get it to either a deposit helicopter or a balloon, and the team that has the most money at the end of the about 20-minute match is the winner. So it's not so much like you eliminate other players, and you can see who has the most money on the map, because they'll either the leader will have like a king crown on the map. Other people will have these giant money bags that move around on the map. And it's a lot of fun because you can actually physically see them with a giant big backpack full of money. And if you eliminate them, you get their money, and then you try to deposit it. It's a fun mode if you haven't tried it. So back to Gabriel. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I asked why the EX7500 is not supported on the Nighthawk app. Any new answers?
So I took a look into this while you guys were talking about games. So the only extender that does support the Nighthawk app is our EAX80, which is our newest one, which is our Wi-Fi 6 mesh extender. So that is, as of right now, the only one I know that does support the Nighthawk app, just because it is a newer model. Just to give you a little bit more insight to the X7500, and also I'm going to kind of couple that with the AX8000. I remember when those did come out, and then those extenders were launched around that kind of time that we had transitioning from NETGEAR Genie to the Nighthawk app. So we started prioritizing on the extenders first. Oh, okay, Sean Ho, there we go.
And Sean just answered
It's
it.
coming. It's coming.
Boom.
I was giving you the
Support
story
is
that
coming.
there was, the support
Heard it
wasn't
here
out there, right?
first.
Back there we go. This is why we love doing this stuff live. We haven't transitioned everything over to the Nighthawk app when the EX7500 came out, but now we're rolling it out slowly as what you see now. So this quarter, Q2. That's until the end of June, so please keep a lookout, but it is coming.
Exciting stuff in the world of NETGEAR. We're always updating stuff.
Yeah, we got some of our support agents sneaking in here in the chat. So thank you for answering the question.
Saying he's gonna
Jefferson.
He's gonna get the tri-band one. He's gonna go from the 12 to the 20. Good.
Nice.
The 1200, well, the 120 to the 200. There you go.
And
So
if you're not aware, we do direct sales as well. So you don't have to wait until Best Buy.
Oh yeah,
opens their
we actually
doors.
have
You can
that on our
actually
site.
go.
Yeah.
Currently, and it's in stock. I'll go ahead and switch over to the Chrome view if you want to
Yeah.
purchase
And it does
now.
have free
It's
shipping.
actually here, and we have free shipping. We were offering
Yeah.
2-day, but unfortunately, too much going on right now to do the 2-day fulfillment. But you should still get it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Probably like within a week.
Still gonna be, because Amazon, I believe, unless I'm mistaken now, they have been prioritizing on anything that's not an essential good. And then Best Buy, if you were to buy it from them, you need to drive up to the store. Then it's like essentially kind of like a drive-through service. So yeah, if you just want it straight shipped to your door, I highly recommend just using our online NETGEAR store.
Yeah. And then Brendan has a question. Are you working on increasing concurrent capacity? Yes, Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6 has the ability to handle so much more concurrent capacity than Wi-Fi 5. So we're constantly looking at ways of improving. Now that there's the Internet of Things, everything is connected.
Ooh, I got a personal question here. Thank you for shouting me out. Appreciate the question. I totally jumped through some questions. I just got excited because I saw my name in orange.
You just saw your name.
It popped up. I was like, ooh,
Clout.
So it's not my personal one. This is what I use for work. But I use it a lot at home as well. I really like it a lot. It is my first Mac. Do I think they'll release a new one? I don't think they're going to release a new MacBook Pro. They did just release the new MacBook Air. But I really like it. I really love. So I came from a Dell XPS 13, which has like the full infinity display, and I really didn't like how the MacBooks didn't have that. But this Mac actually stretched it out even more from the 2019 models. So the screen's like, 2018 models. So the screen's really big, which is really nice. I have the i9. It's blazing fast, and I use Photoshop on it a lot, and Premiere, and render videos and stuff, and it never chugs. It's always fast. I would definitely suggest
I have a
it.
mid 15. I have a mid 15, and like with most of the Apple products that I've had, and I switched over from PC to Mac somewhere around 2007 when I became a mobile game developer, and so everything that was mobile games had to go through Apple, of course, and so with that, I find that my Macs tend to do the job for a number of years. I on the PC side, I think I'm constantly sort of upgrading, but it seems pretty solid. I mean, it still does Photoshop, Illustrator, and things I need it to do. So, but as always, you can always upgrade, and there's better features and faster processors. I always feel that Apple is a little behind on the graphics processor. I don't know why they just can't make those things better.
Oh, so he already upgraded. So he has the exact same one as me. I have that exact model. I've got the i9 and the 1 terabyte. SSD. And yeah, we have the same computer. I love it. I think it's an awesome computer. I'm actually running the stream off the computer right now, using the built-in webcam. I've got
Yeah, you got the way better
everything.
keyboard.
Oh yeah,
You
you
got
got
the butterfly keyboard.
the nice
It's
butterfly
not that
keyboard. Yeah.
bad. Yeah, because I got the Mac. So I use a MacBook Pro for my portable needs, and then I use a like a PC tower for all my gaming stuff. So that's kind of how I like to do it. Where my work stuff, I try to use my PCs as a workhorse, and I try to use my Macs as more of a creative machine. And that's kind of how I divvy it up. And I think that's where those hardware needs are more suited towards, just naturally. I don't know. I still see Macs as creative kind of workhorses.
Yeah, you definitely having that 1 terabyte SSD is super helpful. I have that as well.
Yeah.
720, but yeah.
It's weird though. Like this is 720, but I just feel like the software that they've used to optimize the camera is so solid because I have this Logitech webcam that we use for the gaming streams on my monitor right here. And this is 1080, but I swear this looks better. Obviously the resolution is not as good, but the processing of the image through the Mac is so much better that I like using this more than I like using the dedicated webcam. But I do agree, 1080 would be nice.
Alec, can you flip it to the from the desktop view to our camera view so people could see our camera quality?
Oh, I totally just left up the page. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you're just hanging out there on the store.
No, it wasn't up for too long. We're just talking about
Jefferson
cameras.
says
I thought
that
it was
he's
kind
able
of funny.
to trade his AX12 for the AX20 for free with Geek Squad. Is that a possibility in Netgear website? Not at this moment. We can't do that. So if you're able to trade, then I would go ahead and do that through the Geek Squad.
Yeah, that's a good deal, honestly, if you were able to get from the AX12 to the 200, because the RX200, that is the one that I have, and it's just like, I love not being able to worry about my network. And I don't know, this was kind of like my history with my home setups is like I just recently moved into this new place in the beginning of this month, and I moved over from Comcast to AT&T. And then I actually, so I just I had my RX200, and then I wanted to just like plug it into the AT&T modem. And it was just super nice. One, in terms of the setup, it was just super seamless. Just do it through the app. And then I used to get dropouts with at my old house with older hardware. And then it would just be like, I'm like the NETGEAR guy back at my old house, and I'm just like, oh, why is the internet working? And then just that's kind of like embarrassing to kind of like have to go through. But now it's just like, now that I have the RX200, it's just so nice not to ever worry about my internet ever again.
Totally agree. Yeah, I feel like those they are expensive. Those the RX200, it's currently it's $500, but you really do get what you pay for. I mean, those routers are so bulletproof and can handle so much. Can we do a home network tour? I can't. I got my laptop here.
I can't. I can tell you what I have. I have a CM1000 that goes into a Nighthawk Pro Gaming XR500, which then splits the signal out to a EX8000 for Wi-Fi in the back of the apartment. And for all of my devices that are hooked up, which includes printer, Xbox, gaming PC, Sonos, NAS, that is all connected to my SX10 gaming switch. So the Netgear products that I have, CM1000 to XR500 to the SX10 for wired devices, and then to the EX8000 for Wi-Fi. And currently, I'm going off of Wi-Fi right now, off of my MacBook.
I actually don't mind doing a home network tour.
Oh yeah, Angela, you go ahead. I was gonna say this stream is being run wirelessly as well. I don't have a Ethernet cable running upstairs, unfortunately, and my power is on 2 different grids, so I can't use a power line adapter. But it's working just fine on Wi-Fi, and I'm using an XR500. This is not the one I'm using, obviously not plugged in here, no antennas, but I found this at some point, and I don't even know how I got this, but I have a fake one here. And then I have a
Let me
CM1200
see.
modem
I'm
powering this.
kind of like decked out just kind of from working at the company for quite some time. So this is the one that I do use, the RX200. So yeah, it is the AX12. I would take my computer all the way upstairs, but I don't know if you guys want a whole house tour along with that. But super simple, just like plugged into the AT&T gateway that I have, and then I just disabled that. But also, I'll do like a quick little special shout out. So I have the mural back here, and I actually do like have this as kind of like a centerpiece within my own room. And if you guys haven't seen mural yet, this is kind of one of my favorite things that is in my room. That just actually it's different in the way that I feel like my relationship with networking is like I want to set and forget it. But with this, I actually find a lot of joy in interacting with art and just being more cultured. Like, if that makes sense. I legitimately think this is one of my favorite things that I have in my room, just because it is a product that we do sell. But I've grown to love it more and more the more I kind of play around with it, and the more I'm able to kind of show off like and discover new art and photos that I find.
We got one right here too.
There we go.
It's always
And to any old school
talking
people,
piece.
There you go. It is a good moment of conversation. And then if anyone's been a part of old Netgear, I still got my Arlo security systems like all set up in the back. So we're still it's still one of our babies. Yeah.
Jared, what's your setup?
Currently, my roommate's room has an AT&T fiber modem, but it's connected through Ethernet that's ran to every room in the house. But then I have an XR700 connected to it in the living room, and then in my room I have the Nighthawk gaming switch plugged in, and they have a Netgear 10 port switch in their room, and we have like 30 or 40 devices all connected, all that on a 1 gig connection.
Yeah, that's the thing that's kind of surprising is how many devices you'll find connected. It's just me and my 6-year-old daughter, and we have 25 devices connected to our network. I have no idea how that's even possible, but there's so many gaming things: Xbox, Stadia, Switch, Kindle, phones. It just and then you've got like music devices like Sonos and printers and NASs and all that just kind of all adds up into you start adding a whole bunch of those devices, and that's one of the things that all of our products handle very well is a lot of capacity.
Looks like we end up getting a couple questions from CCDB, who asks, would a better Ethernet cable like a Cat8 help with the constant buffering on my R7000? It also intermittently disconnects all of his devices.
Okay.
I'll toss that one to Darren. I think Darren would have the most insight.
I don't know that it necessarily would help. I would make sure that it's a good and working cable. Like we said, Cat6 is good enough for if you're not going like above gigabit speeds. I don't know that a Cat8 cable would specifically help the issue that you're having, but I would check to see if it is a good cable that you have connected right now. Maybe replace it with another one.
Yeah, as Ben said, it's what was the saying? The cables, Ben?
Oh, it's first to go and last to check.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would definitely
check the cables. Okay, and then another question. We got another comment from Adalberto, who says he hopes that his ISP lets him configure the gateway to use the X12 as a router. He thinks it should. Hopefully, I mean, that's what Angelo is doing with his AT&T gateway, so
Hmm.
should be able to. I'm sure a lot of these ISPs are probably using the same hardware
Yeah,
anyways. So
because that's the thing. It's like all the router needs to do is detect internet. Like, and I would assume every gateway that your ISP would give you has at least one Ethernet port for you to plug in a router and get that connection. So if you if Optimum lets me configure the gateway to use the Excel, it should just work. Like honestly, Optimum probably wouldn't even need to know that you're starting to use a different router. The only thing that Optimum might have you do is that if you try to dig into the settings, they just might put up a couple extra barriers, a couple extra guards that says, "Oh, are you sure you want to do that?" Like I know AT&T was like, "Oh, this is for super advanced settings or something like that," and I had to kind of work around that a little bit. But Optimum should hopefully make it as easy as possible for you to just use a different router.
yeah,
Yeah, because we're in the kind
it
of
might
same boat
get
here.
unnecessarily complex, but I'm sure it's possible. Um, he says that he has to rent their gateway modem.
Yeah,
That sucks. Are you sure?
that makes
Or
sense. But
you could give them a call and see
eh,
if they'll activate a like just a regular standalone modem. But if
you
they're
like
making
scream
you,
at them maybe.
yeah, just get really angry. No, don't
I
do
know,
that.
I know how they go.
If that is the case, that does kind of suck. But hopefully it works well.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't bottleneck the RAX 12 because that's or
And
the AX 12 because that's a solid router.
I think in the greater conversation here is that in the end, yeah, okay, yeah, I did kind of do the easy way out, and I just plugged in the router to the gateway. But I am still on the lookout, actually, within my own self to upgrade the modem. I just want to make sure that, kind of like what you're doing, calling up the ISP, making sure that the modem that you want to buy is compatible. That is that is the first step that you should be taking. But like for me, it's just like I pay for 1 gigabit speeds. Technically, I pay what do we pay each? It's like 12.50. Like we pay $50 a month for 1 gig. So um I actually don't reach those full speeds, but the speeds are like satisfying our house enough. But I still want to get to that next step. Again, this is everyone's kind of like own personal journey and kind of own personal like product decision making. Whether you think it's worth it to just have something that's good enough or something where you're actually maxing out your speeds. But in the end, in order to max out your speeds, recommend owning your own hardware, and that includes both the router and the modem. But obviously, people's ISP situations are different.
Their gateway modem does not have a WAN port. That's just rude.
Yeah, that is.
You can't even plug in your router. That's too bad. Yeah, I
Yeah, that's
mean,
just
unfortunately, a lot of these companies are finding ways to lock you into using their hardware,
oh
which
man.
is
Which
tied to a rental fee, which is a little unfair.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how they get you really, because they have that power. That's the thing. I mean, I'm not gonna bag on too much, but it's just like that classic conversation of really there's no incentive to provide the best hardware to everyone because that hardware isn't personalized to what your needs are. Like if you are renting, that's assuming that my needs are the same exact as like the house that my parents are living at with my grandma, where they're barely using any, their needs are completely different than mine. Um, Here I'm working from home. We gotta pump out these streams and we gotta create and send like giant files to each other because we're working. But if we were to have the same AT&T ISP, we're gonna get the same gateway. So that's the thing. Like we try to push you guys to own your own equipment and get the best hardware you can. But again, there is that kind of process to getting by your ISP. That's the first big hurdle.
Yeah, because there's some of that equipment. I switched ISPs, and I was like, oh, give me the latest gateway, and they gave me the same gateway that I had 5 years prior. And that's the latest equipment. So there's no incentive for them to provide anything that gives you any sort of level of performance. Unfortunately, they do. Some companies try to figure out ways of making that ecosystem as contained as possible, so that way you have to use their equipment. But it's just a matter of figuring that out. There's always ways around it. You just have to figure out how to, what's compatible. If there's a modem that is compatible and switching over, but they definitely don't. They definitely don't make it easy.
A question from
Okay.
Brendan here. Can I run two Nighthawk routers on two different network names side by side on different radio bands, but from the same ISP cable? I would not suggest doing that. I mean, I don't think you could even. I would
Same cable.
I would personally suggest I would go with an extender instead of getting another router. If you get a tri-band extender, you'll still have um, dual band connectivity to the extender, and you'll have that third band that's just a dedicated connection to your router. And you're able to name those as different SSIDs. You name the extender separately. So
Yeah, I think this is part of his other question, and Darren, maybe you can answer this. Where
Yeah,
he
yeah.
hits about 30 devices and then it stops. Once he gets like 32 on the radio channel, I think
believe-
he's trying to expand it past that capability.
Yeah, I believe you gave this advice last week. Is when you have a home full of so many devices that you might want to take some of those lower end devices that don't use much bandwidth, but that it adds up together, and put them on the 2.4 gigahertz, and put your more important stuff on the 5 gigahertz to kind of separate it. But he could also run another Nighthawk router in AP mode behind his router to give him more Wi-Fi bands in the home and make it a new network. That's definitely a possibility. Or he already has a couple extenders. Maybe he needs to connect more stuff to those extenders and some to the router, and just kind of spread it out so the Wi-Fi isn't just hogged up and clogged up by so many connections on the same band and the same connection.
Because I'm wondering, so he has the X6. So Brendan's telling us that anything over 30 devices, it stops new connections. So I guess I'm trying to kind of figure out the source of that bottleneck. Do you think that it could be there are two extenders hooked up to, an R8000, which is good hardware, but it's still a little dated relative to everything else coming out. Can we recommend anything else that instead of adding another router, adding another extender, where's the bottleneck? You think it's a modem? Do you think it's a router?
Oh, he just said he has 50 to 60 all on the 2.4. It sounds like he needs to spread some of the stuff that can connect to the 5 gigahertz and put it on the 5 gigahertz to get less bottleneck there.
Yeah. So that's a good amount of devices.
Yeah, that's a ton.
Yeah. So, and then he's running something that's still tri-band.
Yeah, I would recommend staying in tri-band because you need that third band to run to those extenders as a backhaul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, definitely try to see what you can do to move those devices from the 2.4. That is pretty hefty. All because it looks like they're all in 2.4. I would say, yeah, definitely try the general rule of thumb. Is what I continue to follow here at home is just I put my IoT devices and kind of my older devices, so things like my smart lights and even things like the security cameras. Like I plug that in, and even actually, yeah, that's pretty much it. My dumber devices, quote unquote, go on the 2.4, and then I put things like my computers, my phone, my laptop, whatever it is. Everything else goes on 5.
Also, just Ethernet cable. If you can connect anything via Ethernet, that'll relieve some of the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of 2.4 smart plugs. Has loads of Google Chrome. Yeah, so I would recommend those 6 adults if they're using a lot of the streaming bandwidth or they're just like regular web browsing. Tell them to go into 5 as much as possible. Like, try to get them off the 2.4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would definitely encourage for devices that are stationary, like if you have a desktop tower, definitely hardwire that if possible, and that might mean using some what's it called? Power over not PoE.
A switch, managed
Uh,
switch, unmanaged.
Power line adapter. Might mean using a power line adapter. I totally forgot. I blanked on the name, but that's a good way to hardwire stuff without running wires all through your house. If you have some stationary devices that aren't within cable reach of the router, that's what I do for my media center downstairs. Next week I'll take a photo of it so I can like pull it up on the screen here. But excuse me, my media center is hardwired via a power line adapter. I get really good speeds on that, and I have a switch coming off of the power line adapter, so I'm able to route out a bunch of different Ethernet cables from the switch with the power line adapter, and I don't have a cable running across my living room, which is great. And if you have a similar situation, maybe you have a media center in like a game room, or you have a home office that has a desktop that you could hardwire. Definitely run those cables so you could take, or use the power line adapter so you could take all of those devices off of your bands, and that way you'll get more network capacity. So
yeah, so you could see how very quickly you could go from just having one router and just having all your devices connected to that one router to having a sophisticated topology of hardwiring power lines and switches and stuff. Everyone's going to be a network engineer by the end of these streams, I'm telling you. Hey, Alberto, by the way, I just wanted to give you a ping from our community moderation team. They found your email, so they will be reaching out to you. So if you don't see anything in the inbox yet, let us know. But we should be in close contact. And we're in touch with Alberto and sending the beta firmware to the community. Nice. Well, thank you, team who's watching the stream. This is our way of getting you guys live help. So, yeah, they should be in touch with you right now.
Cool. Let's see. Gabriel says he has a PS4
question. I would run a power line if you can't run cables. PS4, their network adapter is. We talked about this last stream. There's always issues with their network adapter. I'm not sure what exactly is wrong with it, but there always seems to be issues connecting that wireless.
It's our number one like Nighthawk Pro Gaming complaint is there's something wrong with my PS4.
Yeah, and I would avoid like connecting it wireless at all cost. So if you can power line it and then connect it with cable that way, I think that might be that might solve a lot of the problems.
And then that's the thing. So this is my personal advice with the PS4 actually. So power line is a good solution, and try it out if you could find one at a decent price. I would still say that you're still running a power line, which is essentially using your circuitry in your home to transfer data, which while it works, it's still not technically the fastest solution for you. I would try to see if there's something like a situation where you could use an EX8000, quote unquote, and use kind of like a desktop extender and then plug it in hardwired. That's if you truly can't run cables, but that's kind of where I would see another solution outside of power line, but still doesn't require you to cable your entire house.
So, real quick, Brendan just gave us kind of a listing of what he has in his house, and we talked about this last stream as well. Those Google Chromecasts and those Amazon Fire Sticks, those are internet vampires. When you have your TV off, they're still sucking a little bit of bandwidth. Like one of the things that we noticed with the Douma OS with Nighthawk Pro Gaming is because of its device manager and bandwidth monitoring, we could actually see what was taking bandwidth here and there. And I've got a Chromecast, because I need it for Stadia, but I also have a Amazon Fire Stick and a Roku, and all three of those will vamp little bits of bandwidth because they've got those photos that are always ready, or those video when you click to a preview of a video, it has it right ready, and all of that requires it always constantly being connected to the internet. So 8 of them is definitely all going to add up to a little bit of some congestion. I would, if you have a way of doing a device manager, and when you're not using it to reduce the bandwidth that those are using, that might be a solution. But yeah, just be aware that every single one of those adds to the pile.
Yeah. So Brendan, I think you mentioned that you're loading a lot on the 2.4. I would just kind of say, just right off the bat, the smart speakers, your doorbell, smart plugs, that would go on the 2.4. The Chromecast, depending on how far away they are from your router, I would put the one, if you have a Chromecast like in a media center and your media center has your router, use the 5 gigahertz network for those Chromecasts, because as Ben mentioned, they do take a lot of bandwidth, especially when you start streaming anything from them. You want to have like the biggest straw you can, and the 5 gigahertz network will get you that. And same thing with your smartphones and your laptops. Those are gonna consume a lot because you're gonna be streaming video and music at the same time. Most like whatever you use your laptops for, throw the Chromecast, the smartphones, the laptops on the 5, and then everything else on the 2.4.
And then
Yeah.
another small tip that might help. This is something I told Chris last week. A lot of TVs have USBs on the back, and those typically trigger on and off when you turn the TV on and off. So for me personally, I have a Chromecast, and I have the power plugged into the USB on my TV. So when I turn my TV on, it automatically boots up my Chromecast because it's feeding power through that USB. And then when I turn it off, it turns it off, which is really nice from a networking perspective. Of it is turning on and off and getting on and off the network only when I need it to. So that's something I would suggest. If you're able to see if there's USB on the back of your TV. I think that's only on newer TVs. I think my TV is like maybe 4 years old, and I think it was kind of a new feature then. So hopefully at least one of your 8 TVs has that, and it can help out a little bit, but I can't guarantee that as a fix everything solution.
Yeah, and kind of as we kind of reiterated before, I wish I did this more too, because I actually don't really have a lot of things hardwired. But hardwire as much stuff as you possibly can, if possible. Just because 1, you're gonna get the faster speeds from there, but 2, you're also gonna offload the congestion on your network. And overall, you're just gonna get a better experience on the devices that you are hardwiring, and then you're gonna get a better experience everywhere else because your network isn't as loaded up. So that's just another point of advice.
Yeah. Definitely. So we're winding down. We've got about 10 minutes left. So get in your questions. If you haven't already, get them in. We've got about 10 minutes left on this stream, so we're going to try to help as many people as possible.
Yep.
But yeah.
And again, let us know if this is something that you guys want us to keep on doing, because as long as the demand is there, we're going to keep on doing it. So as of right now, we're slated to do these every Friday, same time, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, throughout this quarter. As long as we're all still working from home. This is something where we want to hear from you guys, and we want to be there. Regardless, even if you have a problem or not. It's like we stream like 4 days a week to Twitch, 1 day a week to YouTube, and that's really all for you guys. So we could make sure that we're out here front and center, being as transparent as possible, and really just trying to help out as many people as we can, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. And yeah,
Bre-
these have been
Brendan, we're here to help you. So thanks for your questions.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like thank you all for your questions, because a lot of these questions, we've got to do a little bit of research, or ask people behind the scenes that are helping us out as well. But I think it's like a lot of great questions both today and last Friday, on a lot of different subjects. And I hope that not only has this helped out those of you with the questions, but those of you guys that haven't asked the questions that may be looking forward to answering it. So,
yeah,
but
I
we
feel like
really do appreciate
I learned
the
from these
question.
streams. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys,
I
and
too.
it's good to know what questions you guys want answered, because that helps us understand our products even more. Stuff like having the scheduled reboots. That's something that I didn't know was a hot topic, and now I do, and I'm able to reach out to the right people to try to help push the needle and make that happen. So it helps. It helps us understand the products better too, and get a new
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Once you work at Netgear for long enough, you become kind of passively biased. You don't have the same networking knowledge as the average consumer. So it's good to know what you guys want to have change for the products, and what questions you're asking, because we can't ask those questions. We're too deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we get sucked in and we kind of just think something's common sense, and then it's just like, oh wait, no. The average person doesn't know the difference between Ethernet cables and like Cat 6, Cat 5. You know what I mean? Like, so it's great to kind of get us out of our own worlds and put ourselves into everyone else's shoes, which is exactly what we're doing here. So, I'll actually even add an extra. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I equate it to like I play guitar, and I forget what it was like to learn how to play guitar because
Me too.
I have calluses on my fingers,
Yep.
and how hard it is to get to that point. And I think that networking is very similar. Like once you have a lot of bit of knowledge, you forget about like those basic steps. Oh my God, what's the difference between a router and a modem, or a gateway, or what's an ISP? And so these very what you sometimes forget what that beginning piece of knowledge is. And what's great about this is we could pass along that basic knowledge, but also get a little bit deeper and help other people understand that. So that's that. I hope that we're getting that across as well.
Yeah, of course.
We do have another
So we
question
got.
coming in from Gabriel. He says he has a EX7500, and when it connects to his router, it's saying that I might be misunderstanding the question a little bit here, but he says it sometimes says that there's 2 or 3 extenders on your router, even though he only has 1. That's kind of my understanding. That's kind of weird. I would suggest maybe rebooting it, and then you could also set it up again.
Yeah.
You could disconnect it from the router and then reconnect it with a WPS. I would try that.
So
If it isn't impacting your speeds at all, it could just be a blip that's not worth addressing. But if it is, I would definitely try that.
yeah, it seems like it might be something a little bit more software, like software on the software side. So yeah, like Alec mentioned, it shouldn't affect your speeds and your performance whatsoever. It seems like it just kind of shows up in the software, whether it's the web GUI, and as we mentioned, it's not available on the Nighthawk app, but stay tuned. The Nighthawk app should update with this compatibility. But in the end, we're always updating our products. Like we have hundreds and hundreds of products. So, of course, Bear, we appreciate you guys for being patient. When people are asking us, hey, when's a firmware update for this, firmware update for that? When everything's a priority, nothing is, right? So, keep a lookout and just make sure that your software is updated, because if it doesn't fix itself with a restart on the extender and a restart with your router, just make sure that your firmware is up to date, because it could just clear out some of these, little small bugs. But again, we just hope it's not affecting your performance, and it shouldn't. But
Yeah.
those are the 2 little steps I would recommend.
And then here's a question for Darren. So on the X6, it has 6 antennas, aerials. Should they be pointed up or slightly angled? And here's this is the best question of the day. I'm going to say this. Is it true that the signal comes out in a donut shape?
I can't remember what shape it comes out, but positioning is a good thing to do with your router with the antennas. We do have some KB articles on how to position it, but you want to just position it so you get the best signal throughout your home. You just might have to mess with those antennas a little bit to see if you get a better signal.
So I just got a ping. Just to add real quick. So I got a ping from Christine, our community moderation team that's watching our stream right now. So we recommend that the antennas, I believe on the R8000, it folds in like this and then it goes out. We recommend a 45-degree angle. So here's 90. Go 45. Go right in the middle, and then that is going to be the optimal angle that you should be setting your antennas to, because it's going to send that signal straight outward in both directions.
Does Christine know about the donut shape?
She says not sure about the donut shape. So
Yeah, I'm not either.
apologize. We do not have that answer.
We'll follow up, and in a later stream we'll let you know. These are the hard hitting questions that we're gonna get answers to.
Our Wi-Fi connections are based around donuts.
They're more of a Pringles shape. You know.
I don't even know, honestly. Okay.
All right,
here's
you got
one more
another question.
from Gabriel. Okay.
Go ahead, Angela.
The EX7500 has MU-MIMO. There's no setting for that. Is that a thing you can change? I believe MU-MIMO is just kind of the standard technology that's baked right into your extender. As far as I know, because it's just a feature within the hardware. I don't believe you actually need to enable or disable anything, unless I'm incorrect. Does anyone have any more insight?
Our routers have an option to enable and disable. Did you say they're asking on an extender?
Oh, the extender
yeah,
side.
They're on the extender side.
I would have to double check into the settings for the extender, but our routers do have it in the advanced wireless settings.
Okay.
So let me look to see if we have it in the advanced wireless settings of the extender.
Then so let's I would suggest check the advanced settings. If not, we'll have to kind of see if that's gonna come into a future update or something that we should pass on to our product team. And Bud, thank you for your insight. Omni antenna are supposed to transmit in a, oh boy, how do I say that? Toroidal shape, like a donut. So it is confirmed.
Boom.
Wi-Fi signals
There you
are
go.
like donuts. You heard it here first.
Well,
That's
and I think,
interesting.
does that bring us up to the top of the hour?
We're just about at the top of the hour, so we'll
Yeah.
do our sign-offs here. So we'd like to thank all of you guys for coming and chatting with us. So many comments. We were able to answer so many questions. We didn't really take any breaks this time. It was just all questions and answers, which is awesome. That's
All
what we want this stream
questions
to
today.
be. We want to be making sure we're interacting with you guys and keeping the conversation going and helping you guys where we can. Obviously we're all at home, and so it's a little different, but we hope this stream can help out. And it's been a pleasure. Yeah. Anything else, guys?
Awesome.
Yeah, I would just like to say, everybody just stay safe, stay home, and try to stay connected. And we'll be back next Friday at noon Pacific time to 2 o'clock. Get your questions ready.
Yeah.
And, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, here. And then I have one more little bit. So coming from our community moderation team. So for Gabriel and Brendan, so Gabriel, you had a couple questions about the EX7500. And then Brendan, I believe you had a couple other questions about kind of your congestion issues. So I'm going to drop the NETGEAR team at netgear.com email one more time. Please, if you want to have direct contact to us and get your answers, I guess, faster without doing a little bit more research, email us and then tag hashtag stay connected in the subject line, and then we'll be in direct contact with you guys so we could continue the conversation. So we're not just signing off and going blank.
But yeah, otherwise,
There you
thank
go.
you guys again for coming through. We really appreciate you guys for coming in and then hearing from everyone in the chat. So we'll be here next week.
Yeah, great stream, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much. Great way to sign off. Definitely hit us up on the email if you need to. And thanks for tuning in again. Stay safe, and we'll be back here again next week, next Friday, same time. So gonna sign off. Take care, everybody.
Awesome.